Hey all, coming in here with a bit of an explosion on the internet, YouTube specifically. This is Rabbit Culture of Narcissist Ninjas. Please come over and check out our page. YouTube channel is just starting, so not a lot of stuff going on here yet, but I have hopes and dreams, and I like talking about this topic and educating the public from my own experience, from my own research, and from other people's information as well. So I'm going to be talking a bit about this person right here, Trisha Paytas, who, I'm going to just be honest and just be open and frank. Of course, we don't want to diagnose people. We don't want to offend people. But how about when a celebrity, and Trisha Paytas is a celebrity in her own right and has an effect on the youth of America in a big way. For those who follow her, millions and millions of people do. So it's possible that a large part of her audience is very young and easily manipulated, right? I have, I've never been a fan of her, but I've watched her often and, been amazed at some of her accomplishments and so on. And we don't want to ever put down another abuse survivor. And I believe she is an abuse survivor. That's one thing, I do believe that. But there's a lot that I really don't believe, a lot that she says. So when I talk about Trisha Paytas, I'm going to be referring to her as she. And the reason I am not down with her gender identity crisis is that I just don't believe it. I'm sorry. I am a very firm believer of people that go through the process of gender dysphoria and need to be something that they are not themselves. So they want to be something. They want to create themselves into another identity, another gender. I am 150% in support of people who have that issue. I don't believe Trisha Paytas has that issue. I believe she has a mental health issue, and she goes into possibly different personas and mood swings, and some of them maybe she feels a little more masculine at times than others. Of course, like I said, we cannot diagnose other people, but celebrities are out there pushing information. And I believe we as a public have a right to push back if there's some information coming towards us that is abusive to the public. And like I said, especially kids who are being influenced by them, right? Now, I kind of have a lot to say, and I want to make sure that I'm putting my thoughts together right here. And I've actually done more research on this darn topic than a lot of my other videos, which also kind of irritates me because I don't think she deserves a whole lot of people's time, really. That's just my personal opinion. And I think if people stopped giving people like this a platform, a method to abuse the public, then the cycle would stop, right? So Ms. Paytas has had a lot of controversial relationships in the media, especially on social media, right? And she has had very intense relationships with different people. This is only a couple of her ex-boyfriends right here. There's been numerous other YouTube people that she's been in and out of cahoots with, and always ends the exact same way. Something doesn't go right, usually doesn't go her way, and boom, she attacks that person through videos and through the press any way she can, and basically presents a smear campaign against that person that she is falling out with, right? And sometimes she has legitimate complaints, but what doesn't get put out into the public enough and talked about enough is that a lot of her behavior at the end of relationships is really grotesque, is extremely abusive, is extremely dangerous to the people involved and to herself. She seems to have a pattern of holding people hostage. She literally has admitted to this on air, that she has held people hostage. I'm not going to put up a picture of her current boyfriend because I suspect he is a victim at present. Okay. I am going to link a video of her admitting to abusing him at least one time. And she also admits to holding him hostage for a number of hours. Okay. Now, from what I gather from his personality, nobody knows him. He's on YouTube, but he's not that, mega star like she is. What it appears is that he's a very docile, very compliant, very passive person. And these are the kind of people that abusers, that's who they look for. Now, I legitimately feel there's a mental health struggle happening. Don't get me wrong. And I definitely, am saddened if she does have gender dysphoria. But there has been no indication of any gender issue, at least publicly, for the whole time she's been on the internet until this year, until gender issues are becoming a hot topic, right? And it's just my opinion. This may not be fact, but it's my theory. And that's what my channel, I'm realizing, is becoming about. It's my theory. I should call my channel My Theory, because this is my theory, okay? Now, I believe it. But it may not be true. I admit that. But I believe that she's using the gender issue, just like she uses everything else in her life, to get compulsive views on her channel. And if you look at her over the years, that has been her MO. Compulsion to get the most views. To get the most views equals money, right? I don't deny that there's some mental health issues going on, but you know what? My theory is this year is also the first time she publicly came out admitting that she's receiving help, even though I was listening to a video of hers that was made at least 10 years ago that she quoted she was on a psychiatric medication, right? but she's never really brought that out in the public in a big way until recently, right? And so she's trying, lately she's using her mental health crisis as the reason for her behavior. And I'm sure it factors into everything. However, unfortunately, I'm not a big believer that it's everything that she says. She's been diagnosed with everything from depression to schizophrenia to DID, dissociative disorder, BPD, right? It's very interesting how she has all these different diagnoses. Now, I don't, again, I'm not playing with that aspect. However, to me, she's a YouTube actress, right? And if I was a professional, I think my conclusion would be, my theory was a simple, plain old simple, malignant narcissist. Just simple as that. Personality disorder of narcissism. Just a theory, may not be true. I am going to link another, in a deep dive, I found this other channel that literally found some information about her admitting. I didn't, because I've listened to her recent beef is with her ex-partner on a kind of a YouTube famous podcast called H3. And I enjoyed a couple of the segments that I looked in on, and they're kind of funny and stuff. But I knew right away that something was highly dysfunctional, and that anyone that went into business with her that was probably in for a rude awakening around the corner. That was just my belief from the whole start of it. Like I was saying, I do have a link to include where she literally admits on the podcast. I had missed that episode, I guess, about her being a narcissist. She also had a professional come on the podcast, her and her Ethan Klein, her partner. They had guest doctors. Now, Dr. Drew, I'm not a big fan of him, but he has some good information. He has done some work on narcissism before. And he actually wrote a book with his own partner, about narcissism and celebrity. Now, what I found a little odd was during that episode, I did watch that episode, he didn't come out and address her narcissism and her abusive behavior. I couldn't understand that. The only thing I think what happens with Trisha is that a lot of people are so charmed by her vivaciousness and her beauty. She's actually, when she puts on her doll face, she's actually very beautiful, has a very curvy figure. She suffers from serious body image issues, but she's a beautiful lady and can be very fun and entertaining and charming. And people around her are overcome with these traits And even Dr. Drew couldn't get in there. He was so enamored, I guess, by her that he couldn't point out these obvious narcissistic traits. Now, you don't have to be a doctor to see the traits in an individual that are screaming in your face. I have put the narcissistic traits from the DSM 5 up on the screen before in other videos. I will post them again at the end of this video just to have a little reminder. Yes, it's true. We cannot diagnose people without ongoing therapeutic intervention, right? But we can see the traits around a person that can be potentially dangerous. And I believe she can be potentially dangerous, whether it's for people's careers, whether it's for their emotional health. It looks like she's progressing to physical violence. It's a progression, right? It's on a spectrum. It's a progression. And nobody is calling her out on that because of her charm, because of her ability to make millions. Don't deny that when people are making millions and millions of dollars, right, and flashing it on the screens in front of your eyes, that can manipulate a lot of people, right? So all of these factors enter into a quality of an individual that is unsafe to be around. All right, here's Mommy Dearest. If you've ever seen any of my other little talks up here, you will know that I'm not a believer that all mothers are pure and angelic and need to be put on a pedestal, right? I guess I'm jaded by my own, who tossed me out into left me in a violent situation, and I had to be removed from that as a child, right? So yes, I'm tainted. However, it also, since through my own healing, my own educational journey, I have uncovered traits in other people that are narcissistic and unhealthy. And I'm proud of that. Her mom, when Trisha was growing up, apparently her mom had numerous husbands, numerous boyfriends, men coming and going. It sounded like men were coming and going all the time. I suspect something severe happened to Trisha in that process. You know, she's kind of alluded to things here and there, but I can notice that relationship with her mother is very dysfunctional. And what did I say earlier? And the mother relationship to the narcissist is always a dysfunctional mess, right? Last I heard, Trisha was doing a soft porn video on OnlyFans with her mother and her sister. Now, and she argued on one of the podcasts how that there was nothing wrong with that, right? There is nothing wrong with it if you're in a sick family system, right? Of course, there's nothing wrong with it. And then the sick family system wants to try to convince the world who's watching there's nothing wrong with it, right? This is normal. All families do that, right? Everyone out there who has a daughter, you want to go do a soft porn with them? If you look at it, I'm also going to link another one. I was looking at this other one. I don't even know that, you know what? I don't even know this guy's name, but I was just happened upon a video of him, very sweet looking guy, sweet person. He seemed just like a really sweet person. Very good research. He's talking about Brooke Shields in the day when her mother was pushing her into doing images of herself nude at 10 years old. Paytas' mother gives me that vibe. Only she's not as skilled as Brooke Shields' mother was, right? I think this lady might be a wannabe star herself, and she's living vicariously through her daughter, right? Who knows? At the very least, she supports all of Trisha's endeavors and keeps her in the dysfunctional loop. Does nothing to get her out. What I've noticed is that her mother looks like she's acting as her friend, her peer, more so than her mother. It's irritating to watch. That's why I don't watch a lot of it. I'm just concerned about people who are affected by this and by her. Every single one of those traits that are listed here, we can see as a public. Haven't even met the lady. Don't know the lady. I'm sure I'd recognize her if she was walking down the street. I'm sure that would happen. But I can list. These are from the DSM-5, right? We don't need to be doctors. We can see the traits. I am concerned that the podcast of H3 were targeted by this narcissist. Just a theory, just my theory, may not be true. And I hope that people involved are protecting themselves. And I hope that Ms. Paytas gets the correct help and the correct diagnosis so that she truly can get ongoing, substantial help. Usually, narcissists don't accept help. Trisha Paytas knew she had a mental health issue at least minimum 10 years ago. But it seems it's only recently she's getting all this help. Just a theory, right? Like I said, all I'm concerned about is the safety of people who interact with her and general public, and of course kids who are being influenced by her. Oops. Here's my doggies.